what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. So there's a college football quarterback tier list, Jake, and this is from ESPN. It's an ESPN Plus article, which I don't know, man. It feels like with it, maybe actually this is probably just a function of me doing so much college football research that I feel this way. But I feel like and because I'm sure there's good work going on in other areas that I don't see, but I feel like in terms of ESPN Plus memberships, that maybe the only time that I really feel like, ooh, I'm very glad that I have this is when reading these college football pieces.
Okay, good. I thought you were going the other way. I'm like, no, these are
they're great.
Okay,
no,
yes,
like Bill
I agree
Connelly,
with you.
like
David Hill, Bill Connelly, yes.
It's like in the college football world, The Athletic and ESPN Plus definitely justify the price.
I agree.
Of what you pay for what you get. I would also say in the world of the NFL, you know, I'm a big New Orleans football fan, but yeah, it's hard to do, and they do a great job. Okay, props aside. David Hale comes out with a quarterback tier list, and well, I guess we can just zoom in, although it's an interesting, larger conversation to be had here. We can kind of zoom in on where Jayden Daniels finds himself.
Yeah, we can kind of just quickly, because like the top tier, you're probably going to know who it is. So there's not a lot of things that we have to say about it. Like tier 1A, okay, Caleb Williams and Drake May.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew they were going to be there. Tier 1B, interesting, Jordan Travis from Florida State. Also, Bo Nix, Oregon, Cam Rising, Utah, and Michael Penix Jr. from Washington.
A couple things here, because this is maybe the most interesting tier, Jake, in terms of teaching me things that I don't know that I knew. Like I told you yesterday, I am the Penix pump this year. Just know that. Okay?
You're gonna hear OTB. As much as we are Husker boys, we might be Husky boys as well.
We are going to engage, or we are going to engorge Michael Penix as much as we can as possible this season. I'm a Washington fan this season, but last year he was incredible, right? He had 9 games of 300 or more yards where he threw multiple touchdown passes. That was the most in the FBS. In fact, aside from Mike Leach teams, the only other Pac-12 quarterbacks to ever throw for 4,500 yards, count for 35 touchdowns were Caleb Williams and Jared Goff, both probably going to be number 1 overall picks. Here's the interesting part on Penix. Only 2 defenses that they faced last year were in the top, were top 50 defenses. Yeah. In fact, only 1 in Oregon State were a top 50 pass defense. And in those 2 games, so basically the only games where he played a defense with a pulse, he completed just 58% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Only his yards per dropback were a full 3 yards lower than they were in these other games. So that's just something to watch out for.
Yeah.
Okay, the idea out there that maybe there was a bit of stat padding going on from Penix against bad opponents last season. We'll see.
He was much better late than he was early too. But yeah,
that's true.
I mean, you have to take a look at the defenses that he did it against. But still,
I'll still bet on Penix.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not worried, but it just was surprising to see that.
Yeah.
I was also surprised to see that Jordan Travis posted a QBR of 91-1 during FSU's winning streak during the season. Like, I knew he was good. I didn't know he was that good. That was the best mark in the entire country. It is so hard to have a QBR in the 90s. He counted for over 1,800 yards in the winning streak, 19 touchdowns, just 3 turnovers. Here's the crazy part. He was averaging more than 12 plays a game of 10 yards or more. So not just like going Chad Pennington hyper efficient to get that 91-1, but like chunking yardage as well. And there's really good numbers about Bo Nix being very clutch.
I mean, Jordan Travis was probably the name because that's who you're facing in week number 1. And Jayden Daniels and Jordan Travis have kind of been in the same tier in all of these tier lists or discussions. So to see him up in 1B, and as we continue on down this list, you have to go a while before you see Jayden Daniels.
Well, that's where it gets weird. You're like, after 1B, you're like, thought maybe Jayden Daniels will be in there. That's interesting. Oh, he'll be in tier 2, which is guys you may not have noticed, but these guys are really good. It's 4 players. It's Arkansas KJ Jefferson, Kansas is Jayden Daniels, Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, and UTSA's Frank Harris.
And Frank Harris, I think, came into college with Cade Beloso, same class.
And, KJ Jefferson is really good, but like so is Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is really good, but again, so is JJ McCarthy. Like this feels like the place where Jayden Daniels should be at least. Like
Right.
the absolute lowest.
If he's not in there with that 1B crew that we just laid out with Travis and Nix, like okay. And as I'm reading this article, I'm like, surely he's going to be there. And then when he wasn't, I was shocked. And these quarterbacks in this group are really, really good. Like Jayden Daniels, he is the guy that has the highest QBR of any returning quarterback. Not the highest from last year, but those guys moved on to the draft. They graduated, unless you're Stetson Bennett. And the guys that are actually coming back, like he's got the highest QBR of any of those quarterbacks. And so he's very, very good. So I'm not arguing with who's in that group, but you're like, okay, where's Jayden Daniels?
So then you get to tier 3.
Which just.
And maybe this is just more about putting the system above the quarterback. But it says, never question system, 12 players, 6 jobs. And it's like naming Alabama and Buckner, Milroe, Simpson, Clemson, Klubnik. Georgia having Brock Vander. It's going to be Carson Beck, so that's dumb. But Ohio State's, is it going to be McCord or Brown? And Penn State, is it a LAR? Pribula, it's going to be a LAR. Right, Tennessee, who will it be? But I guess the point is, again, we get to an entirely another tier without seeing Jayden Daniels. And basically, Hale is saying that he believes that these systems are better than the quarterbacks who are coming next in tier 4A, which are consistently very good players, which is like Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, Riley Leonard from Duke, Will Howard from Kansas State, Jayden Daniels from LSU, Sam Hartman from Notre Dame, Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, and Michael Pratt from Tulane. Look, all of these players are good. Jayden Daniels is better than this. He is better than all of them. He will take a massive forward. He's a legitimate Heisman candidate this season. I think this is a way low read on Daniel here.
Yeah, the tier 3 group is kind of what raised my eyebrows. Like Alabama's quarterbacks right now, as I look at them, Tyler Buckner, Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson. Okay, none of those players has done anything of note in college football. Cade Klubnik has done some things, but not enough. And I realize it's a system kind of situation here, but I mean, Clemson's system last year with DJU was not great. I know Garrett Riley's coming in, but it's not like they just, there's been some quarterbacks that have not been Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. And when you look at Georgia, Carson Beck or Brock Vandagriff, it's going to be Beck. Like T-Bob said, we don't know. We don't know. Like, we don't know what he is going to look like. Yeah. Same thing with Kyle McCord at Ohio State, Drew Aller at Penn State. We don't know.
Now, I feel good that McCord will throw like 40 touchdowns, right? But yes, but to
all
your
the
point,
system quarterbacks,
yes.
The Buckeyes quarterback probably feels like that. Drew Aller is somebody that is incredibly talented. But look, he couldn't beat Sean Clifford out a year ago, so we don't know. Like Joe Milton, we kind of got an idea of who he is. We've seen him at Michigan. We've seen him some at Tennessee. But again, who are you taking in that group over Jayden Daniels? Jayden Daniels has proven himself. Yeah. He's proven himself at multiple places. Now at Arizona State, there was ups and downs without question, but he has starting experience there. He has starting experience in the SEC. You know who he is. Last year, throws for 3,000, rushes for 900, has only 3 interceptions to 17 touchdowns. So, like, he has the book. He has the history. He has the film. He has the experience. And so I was just surprised to see him below anybody in that tier 3. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. And look, it's
same thing with Sam Hartman, by the way. Not to cut you off. He beat
Hartman's
Tyler Buckner out, and that's why Buckner is at Alabama.
Majorly disrespected right here as well. I agree. Here's what I was going to say is that, and I get where he's coming from, because he goes on to be like, Jayden Daniels is a very dangerous leg, how dangerous is his arm, and he shows a lot of numbers that show just how kind of unthreatening Daniels was at time with his arms last year, right? He was efficient, but rarely actually like threatened you, right? Made you feel like you were in imminent danger. I think that's going to change this year. So I think that's where our big disconnect comes in. Maybe I'm too close to it, but I believe with all the elements we've talked about so much this offseason, it's going to change. I think Jayden Daniels is going to be one of the top 10 guys in the entire country. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.